This is an island that should not exist. Carved into the sheer cliffs of a volcano, surrounded by the wild Atlantic, it's a place where nature seems to have forbidden anyone from living. Every single inch of farmland is man-made, clinging to slopes so steep they almost defy belief. The ground is volcanic. The isolation is intense. And yet, people aren't just surviving here, they're thriving. So how did they manage to build a paradise on impossible terrain? How did they turn volcanic rock into a garden and isolation into a global destination? And maybe the biggest question of all, why does almost no one who comes here ever want to leave? To really get the miracle of Madeira, you first have to understand why. Logically, it should just be an empty rock in the middle of the ocean. This isn't some gentle, sandy island. This is the jagged top of a massive volcanic structure that rises directly from the deep floor of the Atlantic Ocean. To early sailors, it must have looked like a fortress, a sheer wall of green and black rock erupting from the sea, often capped with a mysterious layer of cloud. There are very few good natural harbors, just cliffs plunging hundreds of feet into the churning water. The bay at Funchal was used as a historic anchorage, but for the most part, the coastline is brutally unforgiving. The landscape is shockingly steep. Flat land is so rare, it's practically a myth. In fact, huge areas of the island soar to altitudes above 700 meters, creating a mountainous spine that controls everything about life here. This terrain creates a massive problem. Winds from the northeast soak the northern side of the island with rain, but leave the sunnier, more sheltered southern side, where the first settlers landed, desperately dry. You've got all the water you could ever need on one side, and all the sunshine and people on the other, with a giant mountain range in between. And the ground itself is a constant challenge. It's volcanic, so it's fertile, but it's also prone to landslides and erosion. How do you possibly farm on a slope of 45 degrees without all your precious soil washing into the sea with the first heavy rain? How do you build a town, a road, a life, on a landscape that feels like it's actively trying to shake you off? For centuries, this was just how it was. Life was a constant fight against gravity and geology. Travel was dangerous. Just moving goods from one village to the next could be a perilous multi-day journey. And critically, the island was, and still is, heavily dependent on the outside world. It can grow an amazing variety of food, but it relies on imports for staples like grain and a lot of the meat its people eat. It's a lush garden that can't quite feed itself, a paradox that shows just how vulnerable it is in the middle of the Atlantic. This is the fundamental challenge of Madeira, a place of immense natural beauty and immense natural difficulty, a place that required an almost superhuman level of ingenuity just to become livable. So facing an island of impossible slopes and a huge water imbalance, what did the first Portuguese settlers do back in the 15th century? They didn't give up. They didn't just stick to the few slivers of flat land. Instead, they started one of the most ambitious and creative engineering projects in human history. They decided to bend the island to their will. The answer to their problems was the levada. The word comes from the Portuguese levar, which means to carry. And that's exactly what they do. The Levadas are a massive network of man-made irrigation channels, basically aqueducts carved right into the bones of the mountains. Their purpose was simple, but the way they did it was genius. Capture all that rain from the wet, lush north and carry it mile after mile across the mountains to the dry, sun-drenched farmlands of the south. This was not easy. The first levadas were basic, hacked into the soft volcanic rock by hand. When the builders hit hard basalt, they'd build wooden gutters to get around it. But as the island's economy took off, first fueled by the hugely profitable sugarcane trade, the demand for water exploded. The levada network had to get bigger, more sophisticated, and a lot more daring. Just imagine the sheer human effort. Using little more than basic hand tools, workers, who were often slaves or convicts, were hung by ropes down vertical cliffs, chipping away at the rock inch by inch. They carved tunnels straight through solid mountains and built channels that hug the curves of the landscape with breathtaking precision. The slope of a levada is an engineering marvel, just steep enough to keep the water flowing, but gentle enough to stop it from moving too fast and causing erosion. It's a delicate, miles-long dance with gravity. With water now flowing to the south, the second big innovation took shape: The poios, or agricultural terraces. To stop that precious fertile soil from washing away, farmers started building stone walls, creating level steps of farmland on impossibly steep hills. From the air, these terraces make the mountains look like a kind of giant green staircase, an incredible monument to centuries of hard work. Since the island was discovered, huge parts of Madeira have been transformed from a wild natural landscape into a carefully sculpted cultural one. This combination, the Levadas bringing the water and the poios holding the land, was the solution. It's what allowed sugarcane to boom, making Madeira a vital economic engine in the 15th and 16th centuries. And when the sugar trade was eventually overtaken by competition from Brazil, it was this exact same system that let the island pivot to its next big thing: wine. The Levadas and terraces are the ancient foundation of Madeira's survival. They aren't just infrastructure, they are the island's circulatory system, a man-made miracle that turned a hostile volcano into a productive garden. For hundreds of years, Madeira was a remote farming outpost, known for its terraces and its wine. But in the 19th century, a new kind of visitor started showing up. These weren't merchants or farmers, they were European aristocrats and wealthy elites, drawn not by the wine, but by the island's famously mild climate. They came looking for a sanctuary from the harsh winters of Northern Europe, believing the clean, temperate air had healing powers. This was the birth of tourism in Madeira. Grand hotels were built, and the island got a reputation as a classy, scenic retreat for the rich. But it was still a niche destination, and you could only get there by a long boat trip. The real transformation, the one that turned Madeira into the global hotspot it is today, meant they had to conquer the sky. The opening of the Madeira Airport in 1964 was the island's modern-day Big Bang. But even that was a huge challenge. With no flat land, engineers had to do something incredible. They built a runway partially on a massive platform, extending out over the ocean on a forest of around 180 huge columns. It's an engineering marvel in its own right, a concrete levada that carries people instead of water. Suddenly, this remote Atlantic paradise was just a few hours' flight from Europe's major cities. This kicked off a tourism boom that completely reshaped the island's economy. Today, tourism is without a doubt the backbone of Madeira's prosperity. It creates jobs for a huge part of the population, with studies suggesting that tourism-related activities account for about 27% of total jobs. The island, which has been named Europe's leading island destination at the World Travel Awards for multiple years in a row, now welcomes a flood of visitors annually, far more than its resident population. To make way for this modern world, Madeira went through another radical change. The island that was once defined by dangerous mountain paths is now crisscrossed by an impressive network of modern roads and tunnels. With financial help from the European Union, these projects have basically tamed the island's wild geography, connecting villages that were once isolated and making it easy to drive from one end of the island to the other. The capital city of Funchal has become a bustling, cosmopolitan hub, full of restaurants, shops, and a vibrant cultural life, acting as the main anchor for the island's service economy. This switch from a quiet agricultural society to a busy tourist hotspot happened incredibly fast. It created a new lifeline for the island, moving its economic center from the soil to the visitor experience. But it also raised a new question. Could this modern engine exist with the ancient soul of the island? Or would the flood of tourism wash away the very culture that made Madeira so unique? The real genius of modern Madeira isn't just the tourism boom. It's how the island has refused to pick between its past and its future. Instead of letting its modern economy erase its history, it has woven them together into a single, strong system. This is the great synthesis, the secret to why Madeira doesn't just survive, but thrives. Take the Levadas. These ancient water channels, built for sugar and grapes, are still used today, watering the banana plantations that are a key part of the agricultural sector. But their job has expanded. The maintenance paths that run alongside them have become a world-class network of hiking trails, a signature attraction for the region. Today, tourists flock to the island to walk these historic paths, trekking through the lush Laurisilva forest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and seeing the island's breathtaking landscapes up close. The Levadas, once a tool for farming survival, are now a prime asset for the tourism economy. They carry water for farmers and hikers for tour guides, fueling two essential parts of the island's lifeblood at the same time. The same is true for its agriculture. Madeira isn't a major food powerhouse. It still imports a lot of essentials. But its unique products have become key to its identity. The famous Madeira wine is no longer just something to export. It's an experience. Visitors tour the historic wine lodges, join in on tastings, and learn the story of the fortified wine that once traveled the world, and the island's distinctive, intensely flavored bananas, which have a protected PGI status, are a key part of the local food scene and a point of pride. These products, from exotic fruits to fresh fish from the Atlantic, form the basis of a food culture that is itself a major tourist draw. Eating and drinking in Madeira is like consuming its history. This synthesis is part of the island's whole mindset. Realizing that its greatest asset is its pristine nature, Madeira has leaned into sustainable tourism. The island has achieved EarthCheck certification, showing its commitment to preserving its unique ecosystems. New policies are being put in place to manage access to fragile areas, like the iconic Fanal Forest, to make sure that the very beauty that draws people in isn't destroyed by its own popularity. There's a growing understanding that protecting the environment isn't a roadblock to the economy. It is the economy. Even traditional crafts, like the intricate Madeira embroidery, have found their place in this new world. While many women still embroider at home to supplement their income, their work is also a protected cultural heritage, a high-quality craft that discerning visitors seek out. It's a small but powerful example of how culture and commerce are woven together. The island has masterfully turned its heritage into its product, its landscape into its main attraction, and its history into its most compelling story. This incredible blend of old and new, of nature and human cleverness, is happening in unique communities all over the world. If you find these stories of resilience and creativity as fascinating as we do, take a second to subscribe and join us as we explore more amazing places and the people who call them home. So we've seen how they built it and how they keep it going. But that brings us to the final, most important question. Why does no one want to leave? The answer isn't just about the economy. It's about a quality of life that's getting harder and harder to find in the modern world. Life in Madeira offers a unique balance. You can live in or near the vibrant modern city of Funchal with all its conveniences and still be just minutes away from the deep quiet of a mountain Levada or a sleepy coastal village. It's a place where modern infrastructure has made life easy, but hasn't erased the deep connection to nature. There is a powerful sense of identity here, born from centuries of shared struggle and innovation. This is a community that carved a civilization out of a volcano. That history creates a resilience and pride you can feel. You can see it in the local festivals, in the preservation of traditional music and dance, and in the food that is so deeply connected to the island's past. In an age of globalization, where so many places feel the same, Madeira remains fiercely itself. The traditions haven't been locked away in museums. They are part of the island's living, breathing culture. People here are connected to their landscape, not just because it's beautiful, but through a legacy of work, of building, of survival. This creates a profound sense of belonging, a feeling that you are part of a story much bigger than yourself. It's this connection to the land, to the community, and to a unique and proud history that holds people here. It transforms the island from just a beautiful place to live into a meaningful home. In the end, Madeira is so much more than just a pretty island. It is a living blueprint for resilience. It proves that it's possible to build a thriving, modern society, not by throwing away the past, but by building on top of it. It's a testament to the idea that our heritage and our environment aren't obstacles to progress, but are in fact our most valuable assets. This island that shouldn't exist stands today as a powerful symbol of human ingenuity, a place where ancient traditions and a modern economy fuel each other, creating a paradise that its people are not just happy to live in, but are proud to call home.